Some people like to try to read the New Testament and the Old Testament in isolation. In fact, that was kind of a heresy in the early church, Marcionism, where this guy named Marcion basically taught that the Old Testament and the New Testament had different gods, but of course that can't be. The New Testament is a fulfillment of the Old Testament. The Old Testament is foreshadowing to the New Testament. We see in the creation account when God is creating, and he's referring to himself in the third person plural, saying we. So we see foreshadowing all throughout the Old Testament. To look at the story of Samson and the way that he came to be born, and then to look at John the Baptist and to say, oh, there's absolutely no relation there, would be preposterous. Last night at our credo, we were doing Q&A, and there's a question about the Blessed Mother and being entrusted to us as our mother, as the mother of all. Is there anywhere else in Scripture besides when Jesus from the cross gives her to John and gives John to her? And we said, well, go back to the Old Testament, go back to the Davidic kingdom with David, and then with King Solomon, you have the Queen Mother. And so if Jesus is fulfilling this Davidic kingship in a real way, not just kind of, saying, okay, well, now all that's over and I'm here. But if he's really fulfilling what was established on earth, he needs to fulfill it in the same way. And so there's the mother who is the queen. It would be foolish just to say, oh, all that was just kind of to get us ready, and then Jesus came in, and why would he have to do all that extra stuff? He's all that matters. Well, no, because he took on flesh, he took on a body like us. He became like us in all things but sin, and so the things that he did, his body, it all matters. And so when we see foreshadowing like this of Samson and then to John the Baptist, it's important that we connect the dots. It's important that we say, oh, God's had a plan from the beginning. He's known what he's doing all along. He didn't just send the prophets, and he didn't just send people to kind of direct Israel and then just say, okay, let's just throw all that away and have Jesus now. No, Jesus is the fulfillment of all of that. Jesus is the fulfillment of Judaism. Jesus is the Lamb without blemish at the Passover meal. Right? At the Last Supper, there was no little white fluffy lamb. Jesus was the lamb at the Passover. And so it's important that we recognize all of that fulfillment. Advent is this time of preparation for the fulfillment of what God has promised us. Advent is a time of preparation for Christ's second coming, in which we know that he will be with us, in which we know that we will be with him. So let us continue to prepare ourselves for his coming and preparing ourselves for Christmas by recognizing the ways in our lives in which we need to more faithfully conform ourselves to him so that we may do his will each and every day.